Whoa, me lads, you should have seen us going, passing the folks along the road, just as they were standing. All the lads and lasses there, all the smiling faces, gathered along the Scotswood Road to see the bleeding races. We went to bleeding races.
Oh, it's back through Cortez!
1962 on a summer's afternoon, we took the bus from Bambras and she was heavy laden. Where we went along Collinwood Street, that's on the road to Bladen. Whoa, me lads, you should have seen us gunning, passing the folks along the road just as they were standing. All the lads and lasses there, all with smiling faces, gunning along the Scotswood Road to see the bleeding races.
Hi, good evening. Welcome back to another content. Johnson Care TV back again tonight. I'm so sorry I'm late. Prompted technical issues here. It's not normal I get them, but tonight I did. So, good evening to you guys, Tom and Josh.
Hello, mate. You all right?
I'm okay, man. I'm okay. Just a little bit of issues here, but it's a lot better now. So things will be fantastic with you guys. So, how's things for you guys? You good?
Yeah, absolutely
not bad.
Cooking.
Fantastic. I'll just send Tony the link, right? But I don't know what's happened yet, but it's been my fault as well. So, probably he's on time. I've sent him the link as well. So he's a good guy, but just going to miss us. So, so the game between Brighton and Newcastle at the Amex Stadium on Saturday. It should be a cracking game between the two teams. We got a poor record against you guys, and it's not great, but hopefully put that right on Saturday. So, Tom, I'll start with you. And this summer, you lost to your best players, Bissouma and Cucurella, and you still beat United on Saturday. So, how does Graham Potter do it?
Oh, yeah. I don't know is the honest answer to that. Because, going up against Manchester United at Old Trafford, a place that we've never won in our history with, as you say, losing two of our best players in Bissouma and Cucurella. You'd stack the odds in United's favour, even with all the turmoil that's going on down there, but up there even. But no, Potter put in a tactical masterclass. I thought, we're renowned for being a bit, play it out of the back. But no, we kind of did go a bit more direct at times, which was really good to see. I thought Danny Welbeck just caused them so many issues. And it was a fantastic performance from us. Pascal Gross loves to score against United, so it was a bit squeaky in the second half. It is the kind of when we conceded, that was when I wanted a Bissouma type player to sort of come in and boss that midfield, but we managed to see it out and get a fantastic performance. Not that you'd know it, because of course all the punditry afterwards was all weren't Manchester United awful. Whereas actually, we played really well. So, props to Potter for the way he set up there.
Yeah, absolutely right. I mean, I do rate Graham Potter as your manager. I think he's a fantastic manager. When he was appointed, I thought you got a good one there. You have to give the lad time. That's what Brighton has done. And as for you, Josh, I know you got to be with 7:30. I get that. But the same question to you, my guy.
Yeah, I mean the United game. We talked about it on our pod. It was a little bit of a case of how good are we when Man United are the barometer, because they're just not very good, are they? They haven't been good since Fergie left. I know they hoped that they were getting the next Pep in, but the Eredivisie is not the Premier League, and that was a pretty brutal introduction for them. So obviously, I think the Albion are in a good spot. We have a great squad. We have a world-class manager. And for me, though, I just can't help but wonder just how good we are when we've absolutely stomped on United late last year and beat them 4-0 at our place. And then arguably we could have won by more this week. Just got. We had some, I think I tweeted about it too. We paid Manchester United Old Trafford tax in full with interest. No penalty when it should have been a penalty. McTominay is the untouchable boy. I don't know how he doesn't get sent off more often than not. So there was a lot of things going on there. And we still came away with a much deserved win. So United are just one of those weird sides. I think we'll get a much better idea at home, where we've struggled historically in the last couple of years, against and obviously a much more fired up Newcastle side than you've been for the last couple of years. So I think it'll be a much better barometer of where we are this year when we play you this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a really good game as well. Can't wait for it as well. And the other one is, you just touched on United, guys. I mean, Ten Hag has got a difficult thing to start with as well, because it's a brutal deduction for him. I think it's the problems of the Glaziers. I don't think it's the match itself. I think some of the players are just not doing it at all whatsoever. I mean, they got rid of really good managers, great managers like Jose, Van Gaal, Ole as well, and Ralph. I think the Glazers got to get this appointment right. If they don't, then I could see United's going to be behind for years and years and years. It's the worst United team I've seen for a long time.
Yeah, you're right. It is a tough time at Manchester United as well. But it's a bit of a funny one, because I think it's about perspective, isn't it? Because I mean, as Brighton fans, I could sit here and tell you our history about how 25 years ago we were almost going out of business. How, our owners at the time were literally selling us down the river. We almost dropped out of the Football League. We played home games in Gillingham for 2 years. And then we played at the Withdean Stadium for 10,
Yeah.
I do get all this sort of Glazers out stuff. And I can totally understand that United's fall from grace for them might seem like the end of the world, but it's about perspective, isn't it? We've just seen clubs go out of business due to COVID. And the United fans are complaining that they finished 6th. So,
Yeah. No, what can you say? I mean, everyone's laughing, but I've got Maisie, who's a United fan as well. She's lovely, but she's not happy with things in a minute. But you're not going to talk about now, talk about your team, guys. Go for the comments as well. Big up to Dear in the chat. Good evening to everyone in there. I do apologize, I'm a little bit late. Technical issues as well. And, just going to post that tweet for it as well. Big up to Gareth. Big up to Wayne. Again, big up to Joe. Brighton, Horvath, fan. He sounds a great guy. And, what can you say? But you guys knows him. Geordie team for life. Brighton 100% deserved to win, even though they had a blatant penalty turned down. They should have had a penalty as well, by the way. Big up to Boogie Morris as well. And just going to big news. Tono able to make it because he's in. He's got he's in the hospital at the minute. He's stuck in the hospital. Tony, whatever it is, may get well soon, mate. Love the guy, and hopefully come on over time. Even Dougie, you played a good game against Man United. Dave is correct. This Brighton fan is spitting facts. Absolutely. United will never be the same again. That's from Joe. And all the time that owners are in, big protest needed, in my opinion. Gotta agree. And evening to you, Jade. I love Jade a bit. She's a star. And she's got her own channel as well. Brighton only second team for now on after beating Man United. That's amazing. Mason, if you want to come on, just let us know. And I'll get you in. And Man United are well behind top 4. Brighton's hammered Man United, in my opinion. Yeah, I want to talk about you, Josh, about Cucurella, right? I watched this guy play it, right, in the left back. I love your left backs. Cucurella, now he's gone. And now you've got Lamptey as well. Those two fullbacks, for me, are fantastic. I think they're exciting. Now you lost Cucurella. Are you going to hold on to Lamptey?
Yeah. I don't think any Premier League club is going to touch him with a barge pole this season. He's obviously an incredible talent, still very young. English, which always helps, right, when it comes to making your squad up. But he's had a lot of injury problems. And I think everybody has seen that. He was out for the best part of a year, I think it was, with the surgery on his hamstring. And when he came back last year, later on in the year, he didn't quite look there. I don't know whether it's a case of he's lost his speed based on the hamstring surgery. We've seen it happen before, right? We saw it happen at Albion. Jose Izquierdo, he was a lightning winger just a couple of years ago. He now can't find a club because his meniscus just got knackered. So Lamptey is very much a watch and wait, not just for teams around the league, but for Brighton as well. He came on late against Manchester United and was brilliant. It was the Lamptey that we used to see. But we need to see that a little bit more consistently, get my words out, before we even see him in the starting 11 again. And I didn't think I'd be saying that a year and a half ago. But Lamptey right now is just, he's obviously a tremendous talent, but he's still on the road back from injury. And I think the full preseason has obviously benefited him massively. And I think, Potter is being very sensible, just easing him back in. And with the preseason that Solly March had, and his ability out there at wing back as well, I mean, he was on track to being our, in my opinion, player of the season 2 years ago before he got hurt at left wing back. He's transferred those skills to right wing back and kind of got himself an assist at Old Trafford already with that save off of De Gea. So, I don't think we're in any rush. I think we're letting Lamptey do what he needs to do to come back and make sure his career is as long as possible. So I think we'll keep him. No worries about that. I'm sure we'll get onto some of the other names going forward. But if you want to know who the next multi-bajillion dollar player that's coming out of our club is, it's Moises Caicedo, not Tariq Lamptey right now.
Right, I'm going to talk to you about Moises Caicedo in a bit, and there's my Newcastle fan Ryan is a massive fan of him. Go for Geordie as well. Brighton are a very good team, where mind you are just individual players, and they think they're a big club. Those days have gone. That's from Gordon. I think it's Gordon or George. Well, but that's what I mean. Mason wants to come on. Yeah, get him on now. Doogie, thank you so much, mate, for becoming a member again. I really appreciate that, my guy. And it's 99p if you wish to join. Just click on the dollar sign, 99p, join button as well. And thank you, Doogie. Can I come on if you can? I'll get him in now. There's top guy Mir, so I'll talk to him in a little bit. I thought Lamptey looked very sharp against United when he came on. Hopefully back to his best. That's unsure. And what will you get as manager once Potter gets in the job? Who will you get? I'll have to ask you that one, mate. I'll go for Tom. Who would you get if Potter goes to
Well, if Potter went for England, I think I'd cry. I think, it's one of those things where Gareth Southgate's kind of gone out of fashion a bit at the moment. After the World Cup, who knows, depending on how things go, there might be calls for him to be replaced. But may I suggest Eddie Howe instead?
Yeah, right. Well, I think he's just on a long-term contract last week, so I just don't see him going anywhere at all soon yet. But if he goes, then it has to be a world-class manager coming in anyway. But
Eddie's a fantastic manager, and we as Brighton, I think he's one of those managers that we always just seems to get the better of us. When he was manager of Bournemouth, the amount of times we played Bournemouth and Eddie Howe there was something about Eddie Howe that we couldn't seem to beat. So it's one of those things that you mentioned about, like, over recent years, definitely Brighton have had the upper hand over Newcastle, but Eddie Howe's had the upper hand over Brighton. So it'll be a very interesting, clash at the weekend. But no, if England do want a new manager, may I go for Eddie? Leave Graham alone. He's rubbish. Rubbish.
Yay! Thank you very much, man. And if he does, I mean, honestly, mate, if he does get the England job, then in the years to come, 6-7 years time, maybe, then I think it'd be brilliant. But that's not for now, for the future. But Eddie Howe's our manager anyway. Ryan is saying to you, Josh, how good is Moises Caicedo? I mean, we mentioned him lots of times. You need to tell us.
Yeah, he's if I may be so bold, he's going to make Bissouma look average in the coming years. He has just about everything you could want in a box-to-box midfielder. He's defensively superb, led the team in almost every defensive statistic this weekend at Old Trafford. His attacking prowess, we've seen that. Just go watch him at the Amex against Manchester United when we beat them 4-0. He was an absolute monster. Those who really want to get a good look at how good Moises Caicedo is, I encourage you to tune into what is supposed to be one of the worst opening World Cup matches ever with Ecuador against Qatar, because he will be one of their starring players, I'm absolutely sure, at Ecuador. He is superb. Worth bearing in mind that he was on loan at the first half of last season to a team rooted to the bottom of the Belgian Pro League, Beerschot. And if you want to have a deep dive into an absolute cluster, I thoroughly recommend reading about their season last season. We dragged him back because they were such a mess that we didn't want him there anymore. And I mean, we saw it within 3 months. Graham Potter has transformed him into this world beater. So to answer the question, he's superb. He's not played long enough for me to say the words world class yet, but he's very much on his way already. Similar to Cucurella, which you saw how quick he hit the ground running right in the Premier League. It was as if he played there for 15 years at 23 years old. Caicedo is making the same impact already. He's unbelievable, and he's going to be a very important part of this team this season.
I tell you what, I'll go watch more of this guy. I mean, Caicedo, he is brilliant. I think he's a good player. I think he's destined for the very top. And long may it continue. I think it's a good find. Mason, even to you, mate, want to be co-host, and so I'm a bit late. You okay?
I'm good, John. How are you?
I'm good, not very bad. There's Josh and Tom in as well, both Brighton fans. And Brighton, how impressed are you this after the first game and under Graham Potter?
You know what I've said, John, numerous times about Man United.
Yeah.
And Brighton just played all over the park. Man United are just useless. And I was just happy about Brighton just absolutely battered them to pieces, because you know how much I hate Man United.
Okay.
And I think Brighton's going to be super. I think I've got Brighton up there this season after beating them, just the way they played.
Yeah, I think that Brighton's have a good season. I know people said that Brighton's going to be in big trouble this season. Brighton under Potter would never, ever going to be in big trouble. This team is a fantastic team. They're great to watch, exciting to see. And you know what? I think Brighton can finish in top 10 this season, in my opinion. So I don't think United are, well, what can I say about them? I just don't think they have the same problems. Fair play to Welbeck, played great against Man U. We have to keep it up with Undav waiting for his chance. He'll score goals. And also, what can you say about Enciso? What's his best position? And do you expect Potter to play him at some point, Tom?
I think Brighton fans would definitely like to see Julio Enciso as part of the first team. You know, he was impressive during pre-season. He looked exciting and direct. Historically, sometimes Brighton have been very tiki-taka, and then we get to like the opposition's penalty area and then we stop. And then we just play the ball back. But someone like Enciso or Jeremy Sarmiento, another one of our young attacking players, they're very refreshing. They're very direct. What in regards to what his best position is, from what little I have seen of him, I think, he likes to play out wide. We've seen him cut in and, pull, put balls back into the box. But again, I don't know how much game time he'll really get this season. There was talk about Potter sort of seeing how he settled in during pre-season and how he settled in during training, and then assessing whether a loan is the right way forward to help him develop. But another one of our attacking players that we might see more of is a young lad called Matoma, Japanese winger. He spent the last season on loan at Union Saint-Gilloise over in Belgium. Again, another really exciting attacker. Was staying the same squad as Dennis Undav as well, who scored goals for fun over there. So we've got we might not have a lot of household names like coming in or have come in so far in terms of signings, but we've got a lot of exciting players returning from loan, and I think it'll be really exciting as Brighton fans to see what Potter can do with these players and kind of adapt them into different positions. Because I think with Graham Potter, what he likes versatility, which was why Mark Cucurella's price was probably so high in the end, because Cucurella could play left wing back, left centre back. And when he was on the pitch, we could switch between a back three, a back four, a back five like that without even having to make substitutions. So, Potter likes versatility. So Enciso could end up as a wing back, as a number 10, a winger, striker. Who knows?
Wow, I like him. I mean, that's what you want to have as a manager as well. I mean, he's so highly gifted. And I like the way you do business as well at Brighton as well. I mean, the thing is though, Josh, right? Your chief exec, what's his name again? What's your chief exec? That's the one. I tell you what, he sets a price on the players and he doesn't budge them at all whatsoever. That's why you could have got more for Basuma, but he's on his last day of his contract. But Cucurella, what a price you've got. 60 million quid for Cucurella. And I think to myself, wow, is he worth that sort of money? Great player, but at the end of the day, fair play to you for fleecing Chelsea out of 60 million quid, man.
Yeah, I mean that's what happens when you try and do business with a professional poker player and someone as brutally business centric as Paul Barber. Whether it doesn't matter whether he was worth 62 million pounds. That was our valuation of him. And if you don't like it, go sign someone else. That's what Manchester City had to do. And that's what they have done, right? They've just signed Sergio Gomez from Anderlecht. And that's the way Brighton do business. That's how we've done it under Tony Bloom. Back in the Championship days, we stuck to our guns with Dale Stephens. That gamble paid off massively. And he eventually got his move to Burnley anyway, right? So everyone's a winner. So yeah, that's how Brighton do business. We know how good our players are. We know how valuable they are to us. And we generally, as you say, the business we do, we generally lock these young players down to very long-term contracts. Cucurella had 4 years left with us, I think. Your bargaining potential at that point is pretty much net zero. You will pay what we want, or you will not have that player. And people are going to be running into that same brick wall when it comes to Caicedo next season, next summer if they come in for him. And they're going to be seeing that with Robert Sanchez, and they're going to see that with whoever else they want to take a look at, including Newcastle with Trossard. I've heard that rumor a bunch of times. Newcastle will have to pay the price they want, and Trossard is an integral member of that team. So you'll pay over the odds because that's the way we value them.
Yeah, fair enough. I think it's happening all over the clubs now, sort of thing. Like, when Newcastle comes for a player, they put a Newcastle tax on extra 10, 20 million quid. And that's why we walk away from deals, Mason.
Yes, obviously, the deals what Brighton have done, obviously, with the actually like what they've done with the youngsters like Caicedo and that Japanese lad. But if they bring them in, like what we've seen with Cucurella, the players who like Caicedo and the Japanese lad will probably go to a bigger club, because I've got a feeling that Caicedo will have one big full season at Brighton, and if he doesn't leave next summer, I'll be very surprised, because that lad's got potential and I really like him.
I do as well. He's going to be a danger if he does start. I'm sure he'll start, and our defence have to be very, very, very close to him as well. Otherwise, he'll just dictate the game. And so Trossard as well. Trossard is a class act as well. And I've got Ryan reckons that Ecuador's going to be a dark horse in the World Cup this year. Fox said people in the UK has not even seen the best of Caicedo yet. He was even levels above this at Independiente del Valle. Check out when he plays Libertadores champions Flamengo and hammered them 5-0 superstar. This guy is going to be an absolute superstar, him. My boy John and Julie, F and Don, big up my guy. I love it, Mia. Thank you so much indeed. And I hope the Brighton fans give Danny Byrne a great reception. He deserves it.
We love Dan Byrne. I think on our we did my podcast, Albion Obsessed. We did a end of year quiz, and one of the questions on our quiz was how many times did we say Dan Byrne's name after he left, and it was something stupid like 29 or 34 or something like that. I think, when he left in January, it was at a point where Dan was probably our best centre back. Lewis Dunk had been out on injury. Webster was dipping in and out of injury as well. And Dan Byrne came back into the squad, great professional, and he just looked incredible. So to see him go at the end of January was really hard. It was horrible. And I'd like to think all Brighton fans, on Saturday will give him, a standing ovation, because he was such a fantastic professional. He's one of those players that could look like one of the best defenders in the Premier League one moment, and then Bambi on ice the next. And we loved him for it. And he scored a fantastic goal against Man City, which will go down in Brighton folklore. So, we've got a lot of time for Dan Burn.
He's a gentleman as well at Newcastle. Everyone loves Dan Burn. I love him. He's a great defender. He's not a big name. He just gets the job done. Simple as that. He's not a star. It's as simple as that. And when we bought him, I thought, fantastic signing. Louis, big up to Louis, by the way. We did a 2-1 Newcastle win. Van Wilson and Bruno's going to get us the winning goals. And I know, Josh, you got to pop off anyway, mate. And just before I let you go, Mason, you got a question for Josh, please?
I was just wondering. I thought it's just popped up in my head. It's about. It's the Swedish lad who's at Coventry. What do you think if he goes to Everton? Is it a bit of a coup if he comes back to the Premier League if he signs for Everton?
It was a surprising transfer, if I'm honest. Victor Gyökeres. He's been doing the business at the Championship level, hasn't he? He's been scoring plenty of goals. I know he started off on fire last season, then really dipped and kind of just disappeared, and then scored a couple at the end. But it's hard to say. We don't want to limit young players, right? And or players that want to go. Same as Dan Burn. I know he wasn't young, but if he wants to go and the money's right, then we've got to let that happen. We've just seen it with Leo Ostergaard. He's the centre half that we had, and we've just sold him to Napoli for £10 million because he wasn't just in the plans for Brighton. That's another one like Gyökeres that we might be looking at in 2 years' time, and he's playing Champions League football and think, shit, like that. Wish we wouldn't have let them go. But hindsight's 2020. Gyökeres wasn't pulling up sticks at all in the Carabao Cup when we were playing him. He looked okay at best. And I think that it was really just a chance for him to restart his career after a lot of time on loan and not really doing much in the under-23s. And obviously he's took it with both hands and has been brilliant at Coventry. So will I feel like it was a bit of a killer if he goes to Everton? Not really. I think we made the right decision at the right time for the best interest of the club and the player. Is it a bit of a pain with the 2020 hindsight that a striker, when we were struggling to score goals for the last couple of years, is coming back to the Prem? Yeah, of course it is. But that's kind of par for the course when we operate as the club we do, which is taking a gamble on a lot of young, unproven players. And sometimes you have to let those players go and make that next step themselves. It's par for the course, but it's a little bit of a bummer. But I wish him all the best. I would love him to go to Everton and score goals. Just not too many, because I want Lampard out first in terms of my betting odds. So,
wow, everyone's Lampard out, don't they? But it is what it is, man. But he says a good word.
I do have to go. So thanks so much, boys.
No problem. Can you just give us a plug in, please, so you can find you? And then
absolutely. So Together BHA is the podcast. It's Together BHA everywhere you're looking for it. Spotify, iTunes, all your podcast providers. We'll live stream our stuff on YouTube and Twitch as well. So if you want to come and chat to us post game, either rub it in or not, depending on what the score is, feel free to hop on and make fun of us or commiserate with us.
No problems at all, man. No problems at all.
Cheers,
thank you so much indeed. Thank you for coming on, mate, and take care. Good luck on Saturday.
Yes, you too.
You too. See you later. Take care. What a lovely guy, Josh. I mean, as opinions on me, guys, he's one of the best for me. So let's go for the comments as well. I've got a few. Any questions you'd like to ask Tom, just fire away. And I got one from Stephen. And didn't know we played Brighton next week. I thought we were playing a top 7 football and would beat them. Now I've seen them Brighton first game scares us. Wow, that's a bro call, Stephen, man. Watch them against United. They were brilliant. Credit for Brighton. For a year or so, the whole club levels above Newcastle for everything. We've arguably caught up with them now since the takeover, and we're promoted at the same time. And that's a good call. It does say something. That's Dan Burn. I forgot we've got Dan off Brighton. Bless you. The medium are hyping up the Gerrard and Lampard rivalry this weekend, and it's the biggest English manager. But there's Howe versus Potter, which are the best 2 young managers. What's your take on that one, Tom? He is absolutely right again.
Yeah, 100%. I think you look at the 2 best young English managers in the Premier League, Gerrard and Lampard don't even come close. I mean, Lampard he almost got Everton relegated last season. Gerrard's record at Aston Villa is poor. And at the meantime, you've got Eddie Howe, who's been, making a name for himself for years. You've got Graham Potter, who plays some really attractive, progressive football. But that's just how it is at Brighton. Everything's just very under the radar. We don't pull up too many trees, and that's how we like it. There's this hashtag of teams like Brighton, because everyone thinks they should be beating us because we're small. That previous comment said about how, Newcastle catching up to us. And that just blows my mind, because when I was a kid, watching Newcastle in the Premier League, if anyone had said to me that one day that Newcastle would be having to catch up to us, I would have just thought you were absolutely insane. So I've got a lot of time for Newcastle. But yeah, you're right. It's Howe versus Potter this weekend. There's no other English manager clash at all. Two of the best English managers going toe to toe, and it's going to be one hell of a watch.
I can't wait, man. I really can't wait, because I think those two, Potter and Howe, or Howe and Potter, are going to liven it up. Yeah, I mean, just give us a chance. Yeah, give your managers a chance, and I think they do fantastic. Go for the controversy get turned in Mason. Well, that's a good call, by the way. Big up John Pennell. Big up to you, mate. Hope you're okay. And who do you think should be our primary target in the summer? Well, for me, I think Isaac is back on the firm as well. Isaac's back on the firm, apparently. And we just got to wait and see, Connor. But Pio Paqueta, that's the fans led, not our owners led, but we should see. Big up to Anthony as well. Two good teams with both wins, going for 2-1 win on Saturday against Newcastle. 2-1 Newcastle win. Sad about Jose Esculedo. Looked good when he first joined, but that injury completely ruined his career. Club Brugge just released him. What do you think of that one, Tom?
Yeah, I mean, spot on. Izquierdo, he came in and he ran. He was so quick, and he scored some absolute screamers, always against West Ham for some reason. He was a phenomenal player, really, really quick, but he spent most of his time with us in the injury room. So yeah, it's really disappointing that these players have these injuries that limits their already very short career. I just for what it's worth, I wish him all the best, because on his day, Izquierdo was an absolute world beater. Just how quick he was, and how he had one hell of a foot on him when he wanted to hit the ball. So yeah, pretty sad. I wish the lad all the best.
Same here. I don't know a lot of him, but I heard of him, and he's one of the best talents for your club. And it's just a shame that he just has not been the same player. I mean, Club Brugge has just released him, by the way, according to Foxy as well. And we come on to Mason. Like I said, what do you think of our injuries as well? I mean, it's been pretty good. Were you impressed last week against Forest?
Yeah, I was. Obviously, it's been put out today that Forest are set to sign a Swiss midfielder from Atlanta. And I think they want to get him in, because I think Colback and Lewis O'Brien aren't up to the standards as yet, is in terms of playing in a top playing in like the first tier of a different countries' league. But I think this needs somebody who's been up there, obviously had experience of Champions League before, and I think if they get him in, I think that'll likely to see either. I think obviously they've signed O'Brien from Huddersfield, but I think that'll make Colback's time at Forest limited with him coming in.
Yeah, Fula, his name is Romo Fula. He's levels above Colback, by the way. He's 30 years old, plays at Atlanta, and I thought it's a cracking sign. We should be known with this guy, by the way. This guy's brilliant. He really is. And big up to Tom. Big up to Will. Hope you're okay, my guy. How do you think you get on? How do you think you get on the season? And good luck for the season, apart from the weekend. That's from Will.
Thanks, Will. Well, we finished in 9th last season, which was our best finish as a club in our history. So to repeat something similar to that would go down very well with the Brighton fans. I think it sounds really unambitious when I say it, but I think for a club like Brighton, who have got a relatively small budget, it's all about being sustainable for our club. Staying in the league is first and foremost. what we want to do. Last season we saw that doesn't matter how big you are. Teams like Everton and Leeds fighting, fighting at the bottom of the table almost to the last day of the season. So it doesn't matter how big you are, you can always get drawn into that relegation fight. So definitely, staying in the league is top priority, and then kicking on, hopefully establish ourselves as a solid mid-table side. And if we can be fighting for the top 10, then that's fantastic. And that's what I, as a Brighton fan, would be looking for. I mean, finishing anything higher would just be a dream. But we'll have to wait and see. There are so many clubs that are sort of like in that sort of, they're not City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Tottenham and all that, but they're not quite, the nailed on teams you'd get for relegation. So, I think we're in sort of that bracket there, and, I just want to compete as well as we can.
Brilliant answer. Great question there to Will, and brilliant answer coming from Tom. Gerrard versus Lampard. It's more important that we get to know who is getting sacked first. That's fair enough, Bexy, Leicester fan. I like coffee. I love this guy. He talks a lot of sense. Thought of Brighton. To be honest, I thought the Brighton, mate. Okay. Sorry, Stephen. We win a trophy for Brighton, or will Brighton win a trophy for us? And I think we'll probably win before Brighton. I hope we both play in the final, Mason. If Newcastle play Brighton in the final of the Carabao Cup, I think that'd be one hell of a game. We should be taking interest.
I think it'll be a goal fest, just because with the caliber of players both teams have, I think. And then if it has a goal fest, one of the teams will probably have a sucker punch at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to talk sucker punches. I think, what was it? It was a game when we both were in the Championship, and it was one of the dodgiest goals I think I've ever seen. I can't remember the Newcastle player, but he yeah, and he just went up in the air and just, mate, it was one of I remember seeing that and just thinking, what have I just witnessed?
Wow. I didn't think it's a good game, but he needed a goal, and the next goal was going to be important. But he scored a lucky goal for the Army. But when Perez scored that goal, I thought, you know what? I thought he was going to be promoted that day, because we played you guys, we won. We played Huddersfield as well a couple of days later, and then we played Reading as well. They were all in the top 3, top 4 at a time, and we picked up 7 points as well. But Reading should have scored that goal, by the way. But he shot straight at a keeper as well, a Darlow, about if I can remember saying. But look, at the end of the day, we both got more at the time. I thought we were two teams that were fantastic in the Championship, played good stuff. And I'm going to come on to quickly about Chrissy Hughton as well. I'll just come to in a bit. To be honest, I thought the Brighton Man U game was dull, lack intensity. Man U hardly pressed and made Brighton look good. In my opinion, I'll go 3-1 to Newcastle. Stephen, I hope you're right, mate. I thought Newcastle and Brighton are the teams I'm going to shock everyone this week. I think I have to agree there. Brighton looked like playing Barcelona whenever they played Man United. I totally talk sense. Brighton did exactly what they needed to do against Man U. They'll do the same when they beat Newcastle 3-0. That's an MH. Do you know what? I love this confidence, by the way. But we should see. Brighton are the perfect example of how to run a club for every team that gets promoted to the Prem. Best scouting network in the league. Hopefully, Ashworth brings that on to us. We're going to forget Hughton for now. We're going to touch on Dan Ashworth as well. When he was with you, Tom, how did he do? What sort of job how did you think he did as a job? How do you think he did?
Well, very well. When he joined, we suddenly started seeing the likes of Adam Lallana, Danny Welbeck joined the club. We talked about Tariq Lamptey, who had worked with England under 18s or under 21s, which Ashworth had dealings with. So yeah, definitely. And I think, when you've got players like Adam Lallana and Danny Welbeck, who some people might see as they're past it, but they bring so much quality and experience to what is a relatively young squad. So yeah, Dan Ashworth, I think, had a really, really important impact at the club. And I know that Brighton were really unhappy or unwilling to let him go. But obviously, Newcastle was a new project for him to take on. I thought, it was, considering where Newcastle were last at Christmas, you'd think, Newcastle are gone. But then Eddie Howe comes in, obviously steadies the ship. He brings them back up the table. So I can see why Dan Ashworth would want to be part of that project. He'd almost kind of come into Brighton, set up the way things should be, and now he's going to hopefully for you guys go and do that at Newcastle. But he's, in terms of what Ashworth has done for Brighton, hopefully he's put the structures in place so his the guy who comes after him can kind of continue that good work.
Yeah, I hope he does it for Newcastle as well. And what you said there, Tom, you're absolutely right there. I mean, for me personally, I think he gets young players coming into the club, and we spend the money when it's right. We're not going to go over the odds. I trust Dan Ashworth. I trust the board and board members at Newcastle United to get things right at the club, and I'm not going to be negative at all whatsoever. Tranmere Rovers and Newcastle actually picked for Sky Sports. That's brilliant news there. We've been picked. It's an odd goal that wins the game. Who gets that goal remains to be seen. I'm sitting on the fence, John. That's from Alan. Well, Alan, I hope we win, but we'll just see. Big up to Billy. First up, I do apologize a little bit late. Technical issues there, mate. I'm here, and I was going to reply to you back, but I want to get this on first for that. I was going to reply to you anyway, but did Tom purchase a Brighton Champions scarf when they were available?
I'm assuming you're talking about when we almost became the champions of the Championship. 3 games to go. We only needed 3 points, and we somehow ballsed it up. I did not purchase a scarf. I can confirm. No scarves were purchased.
Good man. It would have been embarrassing, wouldn't it, if you'd done that? I hope after we play each other, we smash every team. So much time for Brighton. Great fans, great club. I've been to Brighton when we got beat in the FA Cup. And Anna by 2 goals to 0. It was an early kickoff. And I'll tell you something, I think I was absolutely embarrassed. I mean, pay 30 quid for a ticket, right, to see a Newcastle reserve team played. Now Ranger, and I think I might have been Sean Amiot, I don't know, was dancing in front of our fans like after the game. And I just had to laugh because it's just a shocking performance, yeah. But you deserve to win that game. Can you remember that one, Mason, where we got beat off Brighton by 2 goals to 0 and Alan Pardew early kickoff in the FA Cup?
I actually do remember. I was watching the game, but I can't remember. I was seeing embarrassed because I don't know if they were in League One at the time.
I think we were in the Championship.
Yeah, you Championship.
I think it was just embarrassing. Brighton were up for it, and Newcastle weren't. So Brighton won it. Brighton were up for it, and then they obviously got the result.
I think, look, I feel I was just so embarrassed. We were absolutely shocking that day. And that's Newcastle reserves, but that's just by the by. But since then, right, I mean, we don't normally get beat off by the average. It's nils each, ones each. And look, at the end of the day, it's going to be a different game on Saturday. Mojami's goal was my favourite moment wherever we play at Brighton. You know what? I tell him Macy loves you, by the way. Welbeck was the best player on the pitch at Man U, without Cucurella and Bissouma in the past 2 weeks. Brighton has beaten Espanyol 5-1, United by 2 goals to 1. And just quickly on Chris Hughton, excuse me, when he's there, how good a job do you think he did?
Chrissy Hughton was fantastic.
Yeah.
He came in in January, I think. We had just been managed by Sami Hyypiä, who played absolutely kamikaze football, and we hadn't won. I think we'd won 1 game and then Chrissy Hughton took over. We were, proper glued to the bottom of the Championship, but Chrissy Hughton came in. He steadied the ship. He got us playing football that suited our players. Some people said that Sami Hyypiä was trying to play like this, Jurgen Klopp style football with like bombing on wings, backs and whatnot. We just didn't have the personnel for it. So Chrissy Hughton came in his first full season in charge. He got us to the playoffs where we missed out on automatic promotion as well by, I think it was goal difference. We didn't do great in the playoffs. We had this absolute nightmare of a game against Sheffield Wednesday, where I think in the first leg, we ended up playing the last 10, 15 minutes with 10 players because we had used all 3 substitutions. And I think Anthony Knockhart got injured. And then we lost the second leg as well. So, that was disappointing. But then in the second season, he took us up playing amazing football. He brought back Glenn Murray and had Glenn Murray playing, socks off. He brought through, or he put in Lewis Dunk as a mainstay in the team who'd only been a sort of a bit part player until then. And when we went to the Premier League with Chrissy Hughton, the first season was great. We stayed in, which was always the aim. But then the football started to get a bit dire. It started to get a bit defensive. And then there were a couple of games where we lost to Bournemouth, managed by Eddie Howe, and I think we lost like 5-1 at home. And then we lost to Cardiff, who were trying to get out of the relegation zone. And it was just a really toxic atmosphere around the club because we generally thought we were going to go down. And if it hadn't have been for our arch rivals, Crystal Palace, beating Cardiff on the second to last game, we would have been going into the last day of the season, wondering if we'd still be a Premier League club. It was a really disappointing end. We didn't get to say our goodbyes because it happened post-season. But, we've got a lot of time and respect for Chris Hughton because of what he did for our football club. And he's very well liked, very well revered at Brighton for the job he's done. So, massive respect for the man.
Big up. Absolutely. We had Chris Hughton as well at Newcastle United. He was a true gentleman. He got us up in his first attempt and then Ashley just treated them absolutely shockingly as well. I mean, he stood up to Mike Ashley saying Andy Carroll, Kevin will not be sold, right? And Ashley was very happy. Apparently, I don't know how true it was, but they didn't sack him then. They just waited for a bad result. They did exactly that. Shame on Mike Ashley. Does Connor know any Brighton fan that has a Billy Acre Brighton shirt? He might be alcoholic, but still a ledge.
No, Foxy, I don't, mate. I don't think he ever played for us. I think he was. We brought him over from South America, and then he went on loan to try and get like a work permit sorted. But then he had, as you've alluded to, some issues, which meant he never featured for our club. I don't think. So no, I can't help you there, brother.
Fair enough. And go back to Beer, thank you, saying it's nice to guest John Justice Allen's a maximum for yeah, sure. Oh man,
that's too funny. I didn't even think of that. I should have worn the white one. No, it's because I've got like hair and it gets in my eyes and I don't like it.
Oh no. Yeah, oh bless you. We're gonna talk about Saturday's game, right? And as far as I'm concerned, we're gonna have the same 11. As far as I know, Sven Botman's gonna have to be starting the game for substitutes bench as well. Callum Wilson to start. There'll be Dan Burn and Fabian Shear at the back, and it's going to be exactly the same team that beat Nottingham Forest by 2-0. And Mason, how do you think the game will go, mate?
Obviously, with Brighton beating Salford United, I think it'll be a tough game because, but obviously with Brighton beating them, we come back off Forest, beating Forest. I think it will be a tight game. But I feel like it could be a draw, just for the fact both have come off first wins of the season, and I feel like I think it should be a draw because it's two quality teams coming up together.
I agree. And Tom, how do you think the game will go, mate? And any latest team news?
I think we'll probably see the same team that started against Manchester United. The only person that I think could be rotated might be Adam Lallana. Historically, he's struggled to stay fit for a prolonged period. And as daft as it sounds, 2 games in the space of 8 days might be a bit too much for him. So could see Adam Lallana dropped in favour of Enoch Mwepu, who's a fantastic midfielder, but I expect us to set up in that 3-4-2-1 formation. It sounds harsh, but we know Dan Burn very well. As I said earlier, one of those defenders that one moment looks like one of the best defenders in the Premier League, the next moment Bambi on ice. And we played a game with when he was with us against Wolves, and Adama Traore absolutely ripped him to shreds. So I'll be wondering if Graham Potter is a bit sneaky and maybe plays Matoma, who's an absolute speed merchant, just to sort of get at him. But I expect it will be the same team against Manchester United. We played a very different sort of game style against Man U, where we sort of went a bit more direct. I expect us to see a bit more of the ball on the deck in the home fixtures. But as I said earlier, Eddie Howe's, he's no slouch. So I think it will be a tough game. I think a draw is probably where my money would go to. I think our home form over the last season and a half, 2 seasons hasn't been amazing, although we have looked to put that right at the end of last season. So, it seems a bit of a cop-out, but I do genuinely think that you'll be a better test than Manchester United, who are in a bit of turmoil at the moment. You're a much more settled team. You know your best 11, you know your tactics. So I'm expecting a cagey affair between 2 tacticians in Potter and Howe, and it will just be, who makes the right calls on the day, I think.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, it's going to be a cracking game. I think Eddie has set up a team not to, well, I wouldn't say not to lose, but they are going to play football, by the way, but it's going to be an unchanged team. And I expect Graham Potter to play theatre back. Always does that. Lewin Dunk. I love Lewis Dunk. I think he's a fantastic defender. Why he's not been linked to a bigger club, I just don't know. But for me personally, I'm glad he's at Brighton. I think he's a decent defender. And Adam Webster, I think he's a quality defender as well. Roger Sanchez in goal. I mean, look, he did take out Callum Wilson last season, but look, on this day, I think he's a decent keeper. I think he's brilliant. He really is. He was after him as well, but he will not come cheap. I'm old enough to remember the Brighton games in James's Park. We needed a win to beat Sunderland for promotion, and Newcastle fans were chewing on goals. Yeah, I can remember that as well. Don't think Eris Enciso will be in the squad. Shame because he's class. Adam on the bench, and Renrepu making more Premier League noise. He is indeed. He is absolutely brilliant, that guy. The potential injury worries me since he lost Shelby till December, and he definitely needed a midfield in the summer anyway. And Billy Aker has already left Independiente for disciplinary issues and now joined Peñarol of Uruguay, rivals to Uruguay's new club, Nacional. Poor mentality, unfortunately, and that's a shame because, you know what, he could go on a long flipping way, that kid.
Yeah, it's a shame, isn't it, when, these players come through and there's obviously a spark about them. There's obviously something about them that makes them a special player, but they just don't have the right attitude. Maybe it's a lack of a lack of respect towards the sort of gift that they've got. But no, it's a shame. We've seen it across loads of different teams across the world, really, where the attitude just isn't there. We've just Brighton have just shipped off a player, Aaron Connolly, on loan to Venezia, who's he's had alleged problems off the field. And it's interesting, you talked about Victor Gyökeres from Coventry. The reason we sold him to Coventry was because we favoured Aaron Connolly over him. And now Aaron Connolly can't get in the team at Venezia in Serie B, and Victor Gyökeres is being, targeted by Everton. So it's a, funny old world, isn't it?
It certainly is. It certainly is. Listen, going to wrap up there, guys, because I've got another show to do just after 8 o'clock on Macy's Show. And so I'm a bit late as well. It's technical issues that will not happen again. And before you go, did you enjoy coming on my show?
Yes, it was very good. Thank you for having me. It's been lovely to chat.
Brilliant. I'll give you some score prediction. And where do you think you're going to end up this season in the Premier League?
Score prediction. I think, I've got to be optimistic, so I'm going to say Brighton 2-1. Although I do think it will more likely be a draw. And my prediction for Brighton this season will be 10th.
Cool. And what do you think of that, Mason? Brighton 10th. And what do you think?
I was generally going to put Brighton in 9th, but since he said 10,
I knew I liked you, Mason. I knew I liked you.
Hey!
And for do you want to score from us as well, John?
Yes, please, mate.
I've said it. I'll go with 1-1. I'll go with Bruno and Caicedo, and I just want to say, Tom, wish you all the best for the rest of the season because I like Brighton as a club. I just wish you all the best.
Cheers, brother. Thank you. And you as well. If you guys are going to, challenge for the top 6, I'd rather it be you guys than bloody Man United and the like. Mix it up a bit, guys, yeah?
Absolutely. Well said. Guys, where do you find you on your socials, Tom? Can you tell the viewers where you can find you on socials, mate?
Yeah, of course. So the podcast, Albion Obsessed, just all one word, on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. And I do some shirt collecting. So if you're into that sort of stuff, you can check me out at Exiled Seagull. So if you're into football shirts, give us a follow.
Big up. Brighton fans in the chat, follow this guy. Albion's Obsessed. Tom, great guy. Knows his football, knows his stuff. And Mason, before we wrap up, where do you a question for you. Where do you find you, mate, on your socials, mate?
Mason 4 on Twitter.
Fantastic.
Cheers,
Thank you. Listen, going to wrap up there. And thanks for coming on. If you like the video, like what you see on mine, please go to John Sinclair TV, which is on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, John Sinclair 50, and John_NEFC42 at blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to say the rest of John_NEFC42 on with Twitter. And I'll do all sorts of content. And I'll see you back tomorrow night around about 6:45. Our pause will not be late this time. But thank you very much, guys, for coming on. And I shall see you guys very, very soon. And take care. It's bye-bye for now.